Hey, so I just wanted to make a video today about divine truth and about God because this is the most important stuff that's happened in my life so far, and I would like to share about it to encourage people to check out divine truth, and if not to do that, then at least to check out trying to have a connection with God, because I feel like the world really needs more people to be doing that. And yeah, so I don't have anything prepared, so I'm just going to go with this and see what sort of comes up. So um, I found divine truth online probably about 3 years ago. And I hadn't really been, I wouldn't have called myself Christian. I did go to church a little bit when I was a teenager, so when I was about 15, 16. I just chose to start going to church, and I had some friends that went and stuff, and I started getting a bit interested in God and Jesus, and I really quite liked some of the stuff I heard. Some of the stuff also didn't make sense, so it was kind of like this, some of it is nice and some of it seems like illogical. But I started liking the idea of Jesus and God and stuff, and so I started thinking about God, and because it didn't sit well with me that God created the world, to be honest, how they explain it in the Bible. But I started thinking, okay, what do I believe? Because it seems to me that when you look at nature and you look at just creation and stuff, there seems to be so many similarities, and it seems as though it's been designed to me. Like, it doesn't just feel random. It feels like it couldn't have just been that there was a big bang and then suddenly, by chance, everything evolved into such complex things like human beings and animals and ecosystems and stuff. And so I felt that wasn't likely. I felt that there must be a creator and that the creator was a scientist. That was the conclusion that I came to. And I also felt that it feels obvious that there's one creator, because all of the artworks, if you will, have similar essence. So say most of the animals have all got their face on their head, and things like trees with leaves that have veins that look like the same as our veins and stuff. And anyway, I just started drawing all these comparisons and just feeling like there's some sort of designer. So then I just decided that I believed in God being a creative scientist. And then I sort of left church and didn't really have much more to do with organized religion, but I always felt like there was something greater. I was raised with my mum telling me that we have guardian angels looking after us, so I was open to that idea that there are caring spirits around us and stuff. And then I got to the age of 23 and I was at university, and my partner at the time found divine truth on the Christian channel. And it was actually a negative media expose that he saw, and he told me about it. So he checked Jesus and Mary out on YouTube and showed me and was like, I think this guy's Jesus. And I was thinking, well, okay, I'll watch it because that's interesting, but I'm not going to believe that it's Jesus. And then I watched it and watched a few videos, and it just really resonated with me, and I felt like, oh, I actually believe that this guy's Jesus, and that it's Jesus and Mary, and that they're reincarnated. And while Jesus himself says that if anyone has even really worked through their true belief about whether what he's saying is true, that he's Jesus been reincarnated, I felt like I believed it enough to keep listening to it, and I really liked everything that he was teaching, and it felt very loving, and it felt like I finally found all the answers that I had ever questions about the universe and soulmates and spirits and what happens after you die, and heaps of stuff that I had, wondered about, but had never really found the answers to. And I'd been interested in other spiritual material like the Bible and sort of new age stuff like The Secret and whatnot, but it always felt like there were things in them that seemed true, but also things in them that didn't seem true. So I never found that one thing that felt like it was all true until Divine Truth. And so, and now I know Jesus and Mary personally, and that's just been the biggest gift to my life. I've never met such caring and loving people, and who are consistently caring and loving with everyone that they meet, and honest and transparent. And I really would love to just encourage anybody who's thinking about looking at divine truth or wondering about divine truth to look and to watch it, and if you've never heard of it, to check it out and check them out on YouTube and stuff. I really think that the teachings that they are bringing are could be revolutionary on the earth if people follow them, if we start following them properly, because they're so loving, and they teach about equality between genders and people, and treating all the creatures with love, treating the environment with love. The teachings are very logical. It tells you how things work and how to fix things, and it's just so clear, and there's so much information that Christianity doesn't give you about what is actually going on and how to fix it, and the priority is on having a relationship with God. But even if you don't want to have the relationship with God, you don't believe in God, whatever, it's about then being loving. So it's not like, oh, you have to believe in God. Like, they do say that is the best sort of way to progress and stuff like that, and that you are missing out if you don't have the relationship with God. But you don't have to, and the teachings still apply to you, and it's still, everything still works. And if you don't believe in God, God still wants you to live your best life. And so I really like that, because it's not like, oh, you have to believe in this or else you're not going to get the benefits. It's like you're just going to get the benefits even if you don't even know, even if you don't even believe it. So I feel like it's very inclusive, unlike most religions. And what else can I tell you? So I think I'd like to talk about some of the ways that the Divine Truth teachings have benefited me, and actually knowing Jesus and Mary has benefited me. When I first came across Divine Truth, I feel like I was kind of quite different to how I am now in terms of ethics, morality, how I was living my life, what I was thinking about, and stuff like that. It was just kind of everything. I didn't really feel hopeful for my future. I didn't feel like I super cared about people very much. I almost feel like I was just numb. I almost feel like I was hardly even living. I was numb at the time. I feel like by following the teachings to whatever degree I have been able to do that, it's just improved my life so much. And so they teach to treat other people as you want to be treated, and I think that is just, like, how can you really go wrong with a teaching like that? So they teach about emotional injuries and how you get them and how to undo them, and about forgiveness and repentance. And first thing that I started realizing after watching some videos and stuff was that my bad moods don't come from nowhere. There's a deeper like thing inside my soul from my childhood. If I'm triggered by something, like if something upsets me, or if I get angry about something, or if I wake up in a bad mood, like there is something deeper to like everything. It's not just random. And also your law of attraction is bringing you things that are going to trigger you so that you can feel it and release it from your soul through the feeling of it. And the reason why we get so unhealthy and stagnant and old is because we just store all of those emotions, everything from childhood and then everything throughout life. We don't just have a big cry all the time about everything, and we use the suppression techniques on ourselves that our parents used on us when we were younger. And yeah, so I obviously like actually feeling my emotions, recognizing that I have emotions, feeling them, connecting to deeper stuff from my life, has really been so eye-opening and surprising and life-changing, really. And also meeting Jesus and Mary in person has significantly changed my life. Getting direct feedback from them, relationship feedback, and just knowing them on a personal level, like it's just been the biggest gift. Like I can't really express how much of a gift it's been. And they're always focused on pointing you towards your own personal growth, to be more loving, and towards God. And I just love it so much. I personally sort of feel like I feel quite out of place a lot of time in the world. I feel like the world is a really hellish place, and I'm not meaning that I think I'm better than the world. I just feel like I really struggle in the world because I feel quite sensitive to the hellish nature of a lot of things. And yeah, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that feeling where you sort of feel like it's quite a godless place. People have forgotten God and people have forgotten love. And what Jesus and Mary have done is basically come into a loveless world for the second time and learn how to love and then love others. So basically bring love into a loveless world. And like one of the things I've been learning lately is that we all just want someone to love us. Like we desperately want to be loved in our relationships, friendships, by society, by our family. But we don't have this huge focus on being loving and just giving the love and being the loving person, even if nobody's giving us the love in return. And I really like how Jesus does that because he went through a long time of not having love from people but giving it and just wanting to be somebody who brings love into the world. And I don't feel like that's the focus of hardly anyone on earth, and that's why we've got such a loveless world. Like no one wants to love first, everyone just wants to be loved and be treated well, and then maybe they'll think about loving in return. But we have a world that's got such a huge lack of love on so many levels, and someone's going to, like, someone as in like a bunch of people are going to have to want to love and learn to love and teach themselves about love. And that's where I think a connection with God is so important, because God's the ultimate loving being who loves everyone. And if we can connect with that and feel the gift of that, then I feel it's inspiring to want to be able to give that gift on to other people. And that's so, going back to God and finding God, I sort of feel like I'm trying more now to connect to God and pray and have a personal relationship with God. And that's what I really like about Divine Truth, is that it's a personal relationship with a cognitive being, not an energy source, but an actual like person, if you will. Like God's a person, but better than a person. So it's every single person can have a direct relationship and receive direct love into their soul from God. And so that's what I've been starting to try and do. And I feel that that has been the most inspiring thing for me, to want to love other people, because I feel that while I've got heaps of blocks to God, what I have felt from God has felt so soft and clean and safe and dignified. And I don't know how to really explain that one, but it's like, it feels like God would never do anything to take away your dignity or make you feel less, like how people do. Like God feels like from God there is this feeling of just like utmost respect for who you are, and just huge value for who you are, and just this feeling like no matter what you do or have done, that God loves you as you are right now and will forever, and has done since your creation, since God created you. And that's not something that you get from people on earth, really. And so I think the relationship with God could be so inspiring for us if we seek for it, and it's there waiting for every single person. And like, it's just like all this love they teach is waiting for every single person, and all we really need to do is sincerely seek for it with a true longing, and that it can come, and that we can be taught so much, like that old quote from the Bible that Jesus still says now, about how if you seek first God's love, all the rest will come to you, all the rest of everything, like information, knowledge, stuff that you need in your life, answers and stuff, like it'll all come to you if you seek God first, seek first God's love. And the other part that I really like, that I'm trying to get my heart around, is that the fact of, if you want to be close to God and you want to be at one with God, you need to love your brothers and sisters and sort out your conflicts and be humble to your emotions instead of retaliating and being angry and blaming. That's one of their teachings too, like that, you know, if we would all sit down and just feel how hurt we are when we're attacked, or when something bad happens to us, or when we get cheated on, or so our family member gets murdered, or whatever, if we just feel what we actually feel and actually take the time to grieve things, to feel fear about things, to like shake and convulse and really feel terror, punch a punching bag instead of a human, like just that the amount of chaos and like war and fighting that could stop, because we would be just feeling our own emotions and releasing them and healing ourselves, so that because that's the thing, you don't have to hold on to all of this emotion inside yourself. That's the main thing that they say, is that you can actually get rid of it for good, including addictions, including physical diseases, including just shit that makes you sad. Like, it can all be removed. It's like there's not this thing of like, you were born a sinner and it can never change, or now you're an alcoholic, you've got a disease and it will never go away, now you're a sex addict and this can't be cured. Like, it can be cured. That's what they're saying, is that we can literally remove all the damage and all the problems that we have in our soul if we be humble and feel them out and release them, and especially if we also connect to God and ask for God and that help in that process, because there's going to be some things that we're going to need God's help for, especially when it comes to repentance for things that we've done wrong that maybe we can't fix now, like the damage is done and we can't fix it, and we're going to need God in that process, and God to help with that, God to help with the healing, God to help us know what we can do to try and repair what we did. Yeah. And also, one of the most liberating things I think is that they teach that we can have basically unlimited growth. So you can, it's not that you, based on your earth life, you go to heaven or hell and that's it for eternity. So you can, if you're in hell, you can get out of it, like if you are sincere and you are going to feel your emotions and you're going to repent and all that kind of stuff. But there's this constant thing of being able to grow, which I like, towards the goal of at one with God, to where you are at one with God and all of your feelings and your thoughts and the way that you treat others. So you're not God yourself, but you are like at one with the way that God would behave towards others and yourself and stuff like that. And then also going further than that to become at one with your soulmate, and just also the soulmate concept, which I'm not super happy about at the moment, to be honest with you. But the concept that God actually created the whole soul, and then when we incarnate, it splits in half, and then that's how you've got soulmates, because they incarnate into two different physical bodies. So whether that's a man and a woman, a woman and a woman, or a man and a man, yeah, you've got a soulmate. So, and you can also get into one with them at some point in the future. So there's all these things that, you know, give you hope for the future, and also like start you thinking about the earth isn't just your whole life, because I've always felt like, you know what, I've got like 80 or so years to do everything, because earth is my whole life. There's not any, you know, like progress or whatever after that, but it's saying that you can continue learning, progressing, becoming more loving, becoming more enlightened, becoming more powerful, and you'll use it in only a loving way. And that is where our spirit guides come in as well, that they've all been people that lived on earth and now they're, you know, in a more loving condition than us. They've worked towards a more loving condition, and that we all have spirit guide and a guardian. So the guardian's physically protecting us, like trying to protect us physically, and the guide guiding us through life. And Jesus and Mary have personally told me that I have some family members in the spirit world who know that divine truth is the truth, and who guided me towards finding divine truth, which I found really lovely, because I don't have much of a connection with my family on earth, and I sort of just thought that I would be the last person to have family members caring about me. So that was really nice, and just like the potential for all of us to develop our mediumship and like talk to spirits and be in connection with our guides, and just recognize that our guides are there and that we are loved and that we're not alone. There's so many nice things, I don't know where to stop. But also the gift of free will, that we all have free will, and that we need to respect other people's free will, and that the gift of free will is a really beautiful thing. Yeah, but all in all, I feel that finding divine truth and meeting Jesus and Mary has been like the most important thing in my life, and also like embarking on having a connection with God. These things have been the most important in my life. I feel the happiest I've ever been, the healthiest I've ever been. There have been emotions that I've gone through that have felt like I will never get off the floor. because I'm ruined. Like, this emotion is so big and I'm just crying. I feel like I can't breathe. I feel like I'm literally never going to be okay again. And and look, I'm okay. And it really teaches you that, like, because we're so afraid of feeling our emotions and we're so afraid of grief and we're so afraid of having these big emotional outlets, but it really teaches you, it really has taught me that I'm more capable than I thought I was of handling my own grief, handling my own emotions and stuff. And for sure, I have like so far to learn and work on with this, but it's really nice when you start to feel like you can actually handle stuff that's happened to you, and you can actually handle stuff. And so it makes you more like willing to just feel your feelings and work through whatever's coming up for you. Um, and also, like, in that place, not be so heavily reliant on addictions. And the thing with addictions is, I thought in the beginning, like when I first started listening to the addictions talk, that like Jesus, Mary, and Corny gave, I thought, oh, well, this isn't going to apply to me because I'm not an addict, because I don't drink or smoke or like overeat. So I was like, I think I'm good. And then it turns out I'm not good. So and like no one is. And there are so many like emotional addictions, physical addictions, just little stuff we do all the time to suppress our emotions, get away from our emotions, cover over them, try and have fake happiness when we're not happy. To numb out, to get away from how like overwhelming our emotions are, or how like things that we feel are just like we don't want to think about, like for instance the state of the environment in the world. um yeah, so that if you're being more humble to your emotions, you're less likely to rely on your addictions, and so that's going to be good for you, and it's going to be good for everyone around you and the whole environment. And honestly, there's so many things I can talk about, but I just want to encourage people to check out Divine Truth, and and get a bit curious about God, and get a bit curious about and a bit hopeful about like a better future, a better way of being in the world, a more loving way of being, that there is love available to you, um, that there are spirit friends available to us all the time, like who are in a really loving state, who want to help the earth. But you know, we need to seek that. We need to seek God. We need to seek help. We need to seek truth and love and be humble. And yeah, I just feel really like I just want to share this. I just want to share about Divine Truth mainly. Maybe I perhaps will make another video talking about God and my experience with God. But I just feel like if you can try and start getting a connection with God, um, who anything's possible for the state of the world. Like, it's in such a bad state right now, and I just feel like we could be changing it, and connecting to God and connecting to truth and love would be so instrumental in the changing of the world. Like, if enough people start doing it and start like really caring about each other and caring about what's happening and being self-responsible and doing stuff that's actually going to help level up the like state of the planet, like the collective condition of the planet, because we're in the hells right now, and there's something that can be done about it, and it's basically up to us, and whether or not we're going to choose to be loving and love the world and love others and love ourselves. And because God's like the great source of love, it makes sense that we need him to teach us, to guide us, to listen to him through the conscience, to know what's right and wrong, to learn about morals and ethics in how we treat people and in our relationship with our partner. And yeah, I'm just feeling quite excited and passionate about God and about divine truth. And so I just want to encourage you. As I've said, I just want to encourage the finding out about divine truth on the planet. Yeah, I will try and think of more, but if not, that might be it for now. But I hope you've got something from this. Feels like a bit of a ramble to me, but just watch Divine Truth is my main message. Just check it out, just get a bit interested about God. Yeah, and it'll be good. All right, well, that's it, I think. So thanks for watching. Hopefully there's some benefit for you. Bye.